The following announcement has been paid for by Perched on the Top Rope.
Welcome, everyone, to Perched on the Top Shelf. It's me. It is your host, Lee Walker, and I am joined by, as you would know him as the Perched on the Top Rope correspondent. But here, he's a top shelf collector, Justin Largetoe. My man, how you doing today?
I'm good, man. I'm ready to talk some of these Mattel legends that we have come to appreciate over the last few years.
So, originally when they came out, I mean, I wasn't collecting, but when I started collecting the original series of the box, I actually did not like. It was the same reason why I'm not a fan or was not a fan at the time when I would see the elites, the early elites, with like how big the boxes were. But we're doing something special for this episode. As you see, I have two recent WWE Elite Legends, which this is series 15, the Lex Luger and the Lex Luger Chase. And yes, they are signed. The Chase says NWO Wolfpack for life, while the regular one says NWO signed Lex Luger. Justin, we know that the series came back at series 8, and the box was the 2020 version of the regular elites. As you can see, like, they've got the on the side there, just like the cutoff, just like how the 2020 is. Very, very short cutoff. Like how the 2016 style boxes were a little bit. So at first that was disappointing that they were the same box, at least style, because when you're doing a whole series like this that's they've continued and have a lot of success with, compared to its predecessor that was a special box compared to what was coming out at the time. Now I'm happy that they changed the 2021 box in 2022, even though the style isn't exactly what's best for the figure, or just how to display the figure, with the prime example being that edge where his hands are down when they should be up with his Wolfpack sign there. And we don't see that the hands are down. So it makes me like happy now that the Legends have this style box, because even though it's an older style elite box, it's still a box of their own.
Yeah, and I was very worried when they did the switch to the new boxes in the main elite line, the 2021, 2022, because we had so many of these legends in the 2020 box by that point, especially when they're coming out with, for example, you had the DX Army that they came out with over 4 series. So you had Billy Gunn in one series, Triple H in the next. They doubled up on Road Dogg in China in the one after that. And then this most recent one that's actually shipping right now has X-Pac. Now, as a men on card collector of these, I would hate to have it where it's Billy and Triple H 2020 style box, and then they moved on to the 2021, 2022 style where it's Road Dogg, China, and X-Pac. It just doesn't match up. And that's why I like the AEW line so much, even though this isn't about AEW, but just to give an example, all those boxes match, except when it comes to like the Unrivaled line and the Unmatched line, where it's pretty much just a difference of color. The Unrivaled, you have the gold top and the gold back to the card, and the Unmatched, you have the silver top and the blue back to the card. So I just like the uniformity of it, and that's why I'm glad they kept the 2020 style cases.
I am too, because if they would have switched, I would have been kind of upset, because this is something, it's its own series in the line, which, kind of like the Ruthless Aggression and this and that, they don't really have, their box art is different. They don't have their own box because it's still, the same boxes as the regular elites. These legends I love because of the box now. At first I was like, oh, there's no difference between the box besides the artwork. That's kind of dumb. I thought they'd do something, more special.
Yeah.
Now when you get to really take a look at it compared to the new box style, they're beautiful. The artwork, like on this one, like with Lex, it's got the old school WWE logo with legends underneath, but it's spray painted NWO. They spray painted over it with the NWO.
Yeah, and they did the same thing with the DX elites in the Legends line where they had the DX spray painted instead.
Yeah. The only gripe I really have, honestly, with the box itself is I've never been a fan of the old school WWE logo. I wish Vince would have never messed that up when they were over in England where he couldn't use the WWF logo anymore. But that is what it is. I
Yeah.
think I think they're great. And if you're a guy like me, as a figure collector who's not so much about the new figures coming out or the new people, I'm about the legends. I've officially become that old fan, ladies and gentlemen. I mean, the logo right there says it all. I'm that old school fan now. It's weird, but it is what it is. Anyway, Justin, we just gave like a brief review with the Luger of Series 15. We know that there was pre-order at Target for Series 16, which included Farouk, Bradshaw. I don't remember the rest.
So it was Farouk Bradshaw of the Acolytes instead of the APA. And we
Finally,
had,
fans.
yep, Rey Mysterio based off ECW One Night Stand 2006. And Molly Holly, or excuse me, Mighty Molly with the Molly Holly chase. So that one is cool because you're pretty much getting two different versions of Molly Holly, who's never had an elite before. So that's pretty cool.
That is really cool. And for me, the cool thing is, as a fan who gets these figures signed, realistically, you have a great shot with Ron Simmons. You have a pretty good shot with Bradshaw JBL. We just recently met him at a showcase of legends. We got to sit in a bar with them, take photos, got all our freaking figures signed, including their chases, which we'll be talking about chases here soon with figures. Just a whole episode of chases. Our favorite ones, which ones we don't like, who has the most chases, who has the least, and everything in between. But we were able to meet Ron and JBL. Great time. They were super cool, super friendly. Uh, JBL does not do appearances much, so that's why I think he'd be a little harder to get signed. But if he starts coming around more, like I think will happen, then you've got a great shot at getting that signed. Now we know with Fitterman Sports taking over the WWE signings and kind of controlling that for their brand and business and everything. You got a great shot at sending that figure in to get signed. My favorite Rey Mysterio signed figure is my ringside collectibles, the Flash Rey Mysterio in the Flash gear that he wore. But if I get that, I mail that Legends in, I might have a new favorite. But I also like when WWE, when his elites have done WCW ring gear, like when he has the WCW Cruiserweight Championship in the 2015 series. I just love them. And Mighty Molly, she works for WWE, so you have the same thing there if Fitterman has her for a signing. So realistically, you can get that whole series signed. I would say fairly easy compared to most other series of elites or legends or any other figure line out there.
Yeah, definitely. And obviously, Rey Mysterio will more than likely be the hardest one to get out of that set signed. But, Ron comes to us quite a bit in Albany. JBL, he's poking his head in and out with appearances recently. He just did WrestleCon. You talked about how we saw him at Showcase last year. Molly Holly is another one. She doesn't poke her head out very much, but she does do appearances. So it's possible. It's just a matter of bringing her in.
Yeah, and it doesn't even have to be a matter of meeting them, because with Fitterman you can just mail them in. I mean, and I always tell everybody, if you're mailing something in, mail your figure in a case.
Absolutely.
Even if you're going to meet them, put your figure in a case. But what Justin, it's so funny because we often joke when we go to like the bigger conventions, the amount of figures that we have.
Oh, it's no joke.
It,
Anyone watching this, it is no joke.
it's honestly no joke, because Justin has a shopping cart that he brings with him. Legitimately a
It has come
legit
out
shopping
twice
cart.
now.
I'm getting ready to get my own, but that means I have to drive a truck to Albany, and that's for me 3 hours, and that's a lot of gas right now. But absolutely crazy. It's wild. I show up with boxes. I show up with so many figures, I have to have a friend come with me to hold boxes.
He's not lying about that.
So I have to do something different, which means I have to get a shopping cart. But it's fig life. That's fig life.
It's fig life.
So I kind of dig the fact that we review Series 15 first, and we're going to backtrack
Okay.
Series 1, because Series 15 is like the latest one that's out now, but it was Series 1 that started it all. Justin, I'm going to ask you before I do this, do you want me to bring out my other two that are autographed?
Yeah, why not?
Fans, by the way, I met both of them in person, and one of them I've interviewed, which you can find on our YouTube page at youtube.com/perched on the top rope.
By the way, everyone, he's not the coolest cat in the land because I have a Lex Luger sign too. Inscribed NWO right there. And as Lee said, always get a case. Always get a case.
I have no idea how I'm fitting this all on here, but I'm going to do my best.
Oh man.
Sorry, Lex.
Oh wow.
So, ladies and gentlemen, what is in front of me are Series 1 of the original WWE Legends. Now, they weren't considered elite figures, but they are, in fact, elite like. They have the bend at the stomach, they have all the joint movements and everything like elite figures do. But the packaging is a lot different. It is literally all bubble, Justin. This whole thing is all bubble, it's all plastic, and just a very thin back for a card.
That's a thick fucking bubble too. I might have.
Yeah, it's really thick. Like, I mean, you can, I don't want to do that anymore, but you can you can hit the bubble and it's not going anywhere. And my figures are in really good shape. I keep them like that. To the point, what's really neat is on the bottom and on the back, Justin, the bubble actually wraps around on the card itself. I don't know
Oh,
if you can
does it?
see it. You can't see it
I didn't
from
even
here.
know that.
But yeah, so that's what makes this really unique. It's the fact that it's not also glued. See? Right here. See the
Oh
shine?
shit.
The bubble wraps around. And all the stuff is on the inside of the bubble to the figure. Like, and they come with its own display stand. Now, the bubble itself, aside from that back, is attached to the card. Now, on both ends along the seam, the bubble is literally right at the end of the card. And then, you got the little bit up top, but yeah, these are very, very bubbly. Now, one thing that I love that the Legends line originally started with was the fact that, yes, this is Series 1 in front of you, including the tag team pack of the Bushwhackers that I have. But this Series 1 and the Tag Team Series 1 were actually different series. While they are in the same line, on the back of the cards, they are different because the tag team packs on the back only showcase the tag teams. The individuals only showcase the individuals.